All right, so now let's go ahead and check it out that how we can add a menu and add a navigation to our pages. The first thing we need is to create a menu. So I'm going to go back to our base layout, and you can see the base layout simply says header, and that's pretty much it. So it would be a good idea to create a menu and put it right here. So I'm going to go and create a new file. I will call it menu.js. And this component will be displaying just a menu. So I'm just going to start with add movie and start changing it. Add movie, add movie. There we go. And I don't really need use state or use effect. Now I can go to my base layout. I can actually go ahead and set our menu right here. Make sure that you import it. And there we go. So we got the menu. So it says simply the menu. How can we make it a little bit better? I mean, the menu doesn't really have any place to go right now. So let's go back to the menu. There are multiple ways of obviously of creating a menu. I'm going to go ahead and maybe start with a div. And inside the div, you can have multiple divs if you want. So I can have a home div, which will take me to home. And we have one more link, I guess, which is add movie, so which will take us to add movie. All right. Now it's going to appear something like this. Maybe you want it to be appearing horizontal. You can easily achieve that by using a flexbox. I'm going to go and add a new file, and I'll call it menu.css. So this is just a CSS file for the menu, and I can add this particular file. Let's go to the menu and let's import that. So import, and I believe the file name in this case is menu.css. Okay. Now what should we do over here? Well, we should probably start with menu, and we can have a background color if you want to. So let's go ahead and add a background color to it. We'll go ahead and just say blue. Let's see if that appears. Let's go to the menu, and we will give this an ID, which will be menu. There we go. We got the background color. That's perfectly fine. Let's go back to the menu. If you find a menu and then there's a div inside there, you can even add a color to it. Let's say white. And I believe we can add a little bit of a margin between them. Let's say 10. Okay, that's fine. But we want the menu to be a flexbox, so display flex. And automatically they're flowing in a horizontal fashion. And now we have a menu. Now obviously I can't really click on the menu. I can change the URL and go to the home screen. So how can I make this clickable? Now if you try to add a link to it, like a hyperlink, anchor tag, you can go between pages, but when you do that, the page will refresh. And one thing to realize when you're making single page applications is that it's not really a good idea if your page actually refresh like this, or clicking a button refresh. That's not a good idea. And the reason it is not a good idea is that every time you put something in the local state, it will be gone. Okay? So how do we move from one page to other? Well, we will use, or we will take help from the React Router DOM. So I'm going to import something called a navigation link from React Router DOM. The navigation link component can actually allow you to process links. Actually, I'm thinking now if it's a navigation link or is it NavLink? I think it's NavLink. NavLink. There we go. All right, so NavLink, and inside NavLink you can just put anything you want. I'm just going to say home. And the only thing you need to provide for NavLink is to, and then put the URL. Now this is the same exact route that you have configured in the index.js. So don't put some stuff that is not inside app.js, index.js. And then we have the NavLink, and I will say add movie. And then I will also go ahead and change this to whatever the URL is for add movie, which I believe is add movie. Now if I go there, you can see they're a little bit like faded out right now. You can add like a different class to it if you want to. So I will say class name, and we can add a different class, whatever class that you need. Let's say a link class or something, you can add that, and then it will be a different color. If you want to control all the anchor tags, then I believe you can also go into menu, and you can say menu, and if inside the menu you find an anchor tag, then go ahead and color it with a different color. You can also control the hover color and all those things, and you can say text decoration to be none, and then it will be all gone. Decoration, and we can mostly say none. So you can see the link is also gone. Okay, so links are working. If I click on home, I'm already on home. If I click on add movie, pay a close attention to the refresh button because we don't want to refresh. See that? It looks like we're working in some sort of window application or some sort of a desktop application which just automatically refresh super fast. So this is number one thing that you should be concerned about, is the refresh should not happen, because if you do a refresh using an anchor tag, then everything that you have in your local state, and then later on you'll learn about the global state, everything will be gone. And you definitely don't want to do that. All right? So in this video, you learn about how you can use navigation link or NavLink to create a navigation or create a menu which can go from one page to the other.